Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Today I'm going to be sharing a formula with you that has been in the works for quite some time. You all have been asking me to formulate products with kojic acid for probably 6 or 7 years now. So this is something that I've gone back and forth on over the years. Wasn't sure if I was going to share a formula with kojic acid, to be honest, because I was a little bit intimidated to work with it because it is a very powerful ingredient and very potent. That being said, I did see some obvious benefits in formulating with it, and so I did order some kojic acid several years back, and it ended up being not a top quality kojic acid that I ordered. It wouldn't dissolve properly and it would oxidize, and so I put it on the shelf for a long time, then came back to it, did some more research, and came across these. This is a viral product recently. These are kojic acid and turmeric cleansing pads. You guys may have seen these on social media recently, and they're just in this cleansing solution. They're like little Stridex pads, if you guys remember Stridex. One side is kind of exfoliating and the other side is smooth on each of these little pads. And I've been seeing these all over social media. People take them out and they put them on their lips and they blow the surfactant soapy bubbles out of this and then use them to cleanse their face. So I'm going to go into this in the video as well. I am going to be duplicating this product and talking to you a little bit about this and also other ways to make a cleansing product with kojic acid and turmeric. In this video today, I'm going to be going over my full visual process and step-by-step tutorial of how to make these or duplicate these very popular turmeric and kojic acid cleansing pads. Also, I'm going to be sharing with you how to turn this into a foaming facial wash. And if you would like the full written recipe and tutorial, please head on over to my Patreon campaign. This one will be available in September for $7. This is considered the bonus recipe for September. If you're not familiar with my Patreon campaign, I hope that you'll consider checking it out. I'm going to go ahead and place the link to my campaign below where you can find this formula plus hundreds of others. You can access every formula I've ever published for just the $7 tier. There's also the very popular $5 tier and other tiers, each with their own unique benefit. So I hope you'll go check it out. I'm a crowd-funded content creator, so your contribution to my campaign allows me to continue to do what I do best, which is share weekly tutorials and formulas with you. All right, let's get started. All right, so before we get started, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about kojic acid as a raw material and also about this product that we're going to be duplicating. So kojic acid is produced by fungus fermentation, mostly Aspergillus species, so that's mold, and it's of various sugars. This one in particular is sugars obtained from cornstarch or rice. It's a fermented product. So really it's to help with skin lightening and whitening. So it helps with skin lightening because it slightly inhibits the melanin formation in your skin, and it helps establish an even skin tone on all skin types. It helps to minimize dark spots, or otherwise known as liver spots or age spots. And it also is used to preserve and stabilize colors in cosmetic products. So this is a very potent ingredient, though. You only want to use it between 1 and 3%. We're going to go into all of that in the video as well, but it's a really popular ingredient just to help even out that skin tone and brighten the skin. This can also be combined with other like skin lightening or brightening ingredients, which I haven't really experimented with that yet. So then when I came across these, of course, I looked at the ingredients and I thought, oh, I could probably duplicate this. I probably have mostly all of these ingredients already here. And so I'll go ahead and let you know what's in it. So there's water, turmeric extract, chamomile hydrolat, which is just a chamomile hydrosol, cocoa glucoside, vegetable glycerin, panthenol B5, lemon and orange peel, kojic acid at 1%, grapefruit seed extract surfactant, vitamin C, natural preservative, lactobacillus ferment. So I was like, oh, I can go about deconstructing this formula and creating my own little cleansing pads. So we're going to talk about these a little bit more in depth as we go along too, because I found that the directions on these pads, this is my open package, may not be suitable for every person. So we'll go into that a little bit too as we're making this, because kojic acid can be a very drying ingredient. It can irritate your skin a little bit, at least for me. And I know if you've ever looked around on the internet regarding kojic acid, sometimes if you don't get a high quality one, or somebody makes a product with it that's not made properly, it can actually burn your skin. So you need to be very careful when formulating with ingredients like this. Okay, so this formula is broken down into 3 phases. So in the phase A, we have a bunch of powdered ingredients. So I was attempting to duplicate the cleansing pads as closely as possible. So you're gonna see that I've used a lot of the same ingredients if I had them around. If I didn't, I used a suitable substitution. So the first thing we're gonna do is weigh off the powders involved in this formula. And the first thing we're gonna put in there is some dl-panthenol. This is gonna be your provitamin B. Vitamin B is very good for the skin and the hair. So I'm weighing everything off in this little container here before we move it over to the water, specifically because the water is going to need to be warmed up to dissolve the kojic acid and the allantoin that we're going to be using. So I wanted to separate this first into this little container before we dump it into the bigger container. So the next thing we're going to weigh off is the allantoin. Allantoin is an ingredient used for skin soothing, and it also helps to reduce redness. Now, allantoin is not found in the original ingredient, or in the original ingredient list from the cleansing pads that I'm duplicating, but I thought it would be a nice addition to this formula because kojic acid, again, can be a little bit irritating, and I wanted allantoin to kind of buffer any of those effects. And then last, for the powdered ingredients, is the kojic acid. Now this is a water-soluble kojic acid, but it does help to warm your water up a little bit to also dissolve it, but you don't want to warm it up too much. If you warm it up too much, your kojic acid can oxidize, and so then it's just not as effective. So we're going to slightly warm up our water. You don't want it to be hotter than 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and set this inside this. This is going to fit, we're making a total of 8 ounces today. So I'm going to put it to the bottom of my bigger beaker. And then I'm going to set it aside and go ahead and weigh off my water ingredients in this container here, and then we'll warm it up. So we need to weigh off some distilled water, and then we're going to be using some aloe vera water as well. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and place some aloe vera water into this mixture as well. This is aloe vera liquid. It's from Brambleberry. It is cosmetic grade. So this is what you would use in your lotions, facial washes. You don't want to use the aloe vera juice that you find at the grocery store because this is properly preserved and made for cosmetics. So we're going to go ahead and place in our aloe vera liquid. Now, the aloe vera in this formula is going to add some nice and soothing qualities to it as well. And I'm using aloe vera also as part of the humectant in this formula. The cleansing pads don't have any aloe vera, they have chamomile hydrosol. So we're using aloe vera instead. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and just warm up my watery ingredients here, combine it with my powdered ingredients, and stir until they dissolve. Right, so my water is slightly warmed up. You only need to warm it up for about, if you're making the same amount that I'm making here, you only need to warm it up for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then make sure you take the temperature that it's, so you make sure it's not exceeding 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, you don't want to oxidize that kojic acid. So we're gonna go ahead and just pour the watery ingredients over the powdered ingredients. And then I'm going to give this a stir to combine and dissolve. Now we want everything to be sufficiently dissolved before we start adding in the phase B ingredients. And the reason I say that is because I want to make sure that we don't cool the water down so much by adding in the other ingredients that our powders don't sufficiently dissolve. So we're looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside and start weighing off our phase B ingredients. And again, I'm going to weigh them into this little container here because some of the amounts that we're using are very small. You don't need a lot of something to make it powerful. So we're going to go ahead and weigh off our phase B ingredients in here. And we're going to start with glycerin. Now I'm using glycerin. You know what, I can probably actually go ahead and add the glycerin directly into here because we're using a bit more glycerin, so the scale will be able to weigh it off. The smaller amounts I like to weigh on this little scale here because my bigger scale doesn't measure past or below like 2 grams or something like that. It might measure 2 grams at the lowest, and this one also is a little bit more accurate with smaller measurements. So we're going to go ahead and just add in the glycerin to the bigger container. All right, so in goes the glycerin. The glycerin is going to act as a humectant also, just drawing moisture to your skin, and it also enhances the foam and lather and gives an overall kind of nice conditioning skin feel. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside, and then again just weigh off the rest of the phase B, the smaller amounts in this little container here. So we're going to be adding in some turmeric extract. This is turmeric liquid extract. It's water soluble. I got it from Voyager Soap and Candle. Now the ingredients on the actual cleansing pads here called for turmeric and turmeric extract. I'm not sure in which form the turmeric, besides the turmeric extract, was involved in that. You know, some stuff you're just not going to know exactly. So we're going to go ahead and just use turmeric extract. And turmeric is very well known for helping your complexion. Same with the kojic acid. It's just a bit more mild in that way where it's helping with your skin tone, evening out skin tone, brightening your complexion. It's very, very high in anti-inflammatories. Okay, there's that. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in some polyquaternium 7. So I highly recommend this ingredient if you don't have it in your lab. Polyquaternium is really good at giving it a nice skin feel. It gives it a luxurious glide, slip, and it feels very conditioning on your skin. It's pretty inexpensive, but has a big impact on your products. I'm using this because it's a facial wash and I want it to feel really nice on the skin. So we're going to go ahead and add this in. But you have to be careful not to add too much of this because it can make your products tacky and sticky. And we're going to be putting some of this into a container that I need it to come out nice and fluid. And also you don't need a lot of this product again to make a big impact. Okay. So there were some various fruit extracts involved in this formula here. I did not have exactly the same fruit extracts that they used in here, but I do have some that will provide the same benefit. So there were some alpha hydroxy type fruits that have the alpha hydroxy acids in them, and some antioxidant ingredients and some vitamin C. So that's what we're trying to mimic here. So the first thing I'm going to do is add in some dragon fruit extract. This is good for, again, those low amounts of alpha hydroxy acids. Also just kind of helps with exfoliating the skin. Works really nicely with the kojic acid. So we're going to go ahead and put in some dragon fruit extract. I forget how this one is a little viscous. I have to pour this one. This one's a little bit like, kind of got the same consistency as a glycerin. Okay. I got this one from Formulator Sample Shop, and it's an extract that is infused in glycerin, so it's a glycerin extract. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and add in some green tea extract. I got this little water soluble one from Brambleberry, and green tea extract, it's just going to provide that antioxidant. Okay. And just like the original formula, we're going to go ahead and add in some water-soluble vitamin C. And vitamin C is, again, going to help with the antioxidant benefit along with a little bit of that alpha hydroxy acid to help with a little bit of a chemical exfoliation. Now, this formula has a nice and bright, kind of light lemony fragrance to it. It says in the ingredients that it's lemon peel, what was that again? And orange peel. We're just going to use a tiny bit of lemon essential oil to achieve the same fragrance. Just a little bit. You've got to be careful with the lemon essential oil. You want to make sure that it's not expired because that can actually be not great for your skin at all. So you want to make sure that you have checked your purchase date and make sure that your lemon essential oil is not oxidized. So we're going to go ahead and add in a tiny bit of lemon essential oil, really just to give it a little bit of fragrance and brightness. Next up, we are going to be adding in the bacillus ferment. Now, this is the same ingredient that's in the cleansing pads, the lactobacillus. So fermented products are really kind of trending right now, fermented products for the skin. And bacillus ferment is going to help balance out your skin and give it some of those good bacterias. So we're going to go ahead and add in our bacillus ferment. This comes from Making Cosmetics. It is an expensive ingredient. You could totally just leave it out, but in an attempt to duplicate that formula as close as possible, we're going to go ahead and add in some bacillus ferment. You guys have seen me use this also in oil to milk cleansers and deodorant. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and add in our preservative. Although I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and just add this in first because sometimes preservatives can get a little bit weird when you add them directly to more potent ingredients like essential oils. I've had that problem before, so we're going to go ahead and just add this in. Now you're going to notice the turmeric extract really does kind of change colors depending on the pH of your formula. So we're going to be talking about that in a little bit as well. The pH is going to be very important for this formula. So I'm going to go ahead and add that all in. Give it a stir. Next, I'm going to weigh off my preservative into another little container here. I'm using liquid Germall Plus for a couple reasons. We're going to be lowering the pH of this to around a 5, and liquid Germall Plus is perfect for formulas in the range of 4 to 8 on the pH scale, and also it's water soluble, it's broad spectrum, and it does a really nice job. I'm just going to be very careful here to pour this in. All right, now in an attempt to get all of this off the bottom, it's a little bit of a sticky ingredient. I just pour a little bit of the formula in there to pick up the preservative, mix it all around, and then combine it back. And then giving it a good stir to combine. Now, of course, since we have a little bit of essential oil in here right now with these watery ingredients, it's not going to totally solubilize until we add in our surfactants. So don't be alarmed if you see in your formula that you have some of that floating essential oil. It will all get combined perfectly once we add in those surfactants. So the surfactants that we're going to be using today are, some of them are the same and there's a few differences. So we're going to be using cocoa betaine or cocamidopropyl betaine. That's not used in this formula, but it's not used in the original formula that we're duplicating. However, it's a very common surfactant used for facial care, and it's very gentle, plant-based, made from coconuts, and it has a fairly low pH. So we're going to go ahead and use, and it has a great lather and bubbles. We're going to use cocamidopropyl betaine as our primary surfactant. Secondary surfactant we're going to be using we're going to be using cocoa glucoside and foaming apples. Cocoa glucoside is also very gentle. It adds nice kind of flash foam to your product. So we're going to go ahead and add this in. Okay. And then the last ingredient we're going to be putting in is some foaming apples. Foaming apples are a very gentle surfactant, plant-based, again, made from apples. I got this one from Windy Point. All right, now, as you can see, the turmeric in here is just changing colors depending on the pH. So we're going to go ahead and give this a stir, and I'll bring you right back. All right, now I'm taking the pH on this because the pH is going to be really important in this product. So we're sitting right around a 6 on the pH, and kojic acid does best in a pH range of 4.5 to 5.5. That's when it is the most active, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of citric acid just to reduce this down a tiny bit. Now, I did take the pH of this when I purchased it, and it's a 4.67. So this is right in the perfect range as well. I'm going to reduce this down to right around a 5. I find that that is better for my skin, and since it doesn't inhibit the kojic acid or any of the other ingredients in here to have it at a 5, it still works great. I'm going to go ahead and lower it down just a bit. Okay, with the addition of just a little bit of citric acid, I've gotten the pH down to a 4.9, which is very close to a 5, so we're going to go ahead and stop there. Okay, so we're ready to go ahead and package this up, and then I'll give you a little bit of a use demo. So this is something I wanted to also talk to you guys about as well. I wanted to talk to you about, I'm going to be packaging it in two ways. I'm going to go ahead and place these little cleansing pads. I got these on Amazon. These were pretty hard to find. I'll go ahead and place the link below. However, I don't think if you were going to be mass producing this, that this is the best way to go. They were a tad bit expensive, I would think, for, but again, I only bought one package. So if you buy these in bulk somewhere else, or you find a better deal and you want to make a lot of it, because to be honest, this package of cleansing pads was fairly inexpensive. I think it was right around $7 or so, and it might have been on sale. But we're going to go ahead. I find the cleansing pads really hard to remove from this package. You have to open this up and then get your fingers in there and try to get just one little cleansing pad out of there. And other products that I've used in the past that are kind of like similar to this, where you have to pull out a little cleansing pad, they come in little tubs like this, and it's just easy just to pluck it right off the top. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. But I'm also going to put it into this foamer bottle. We're not gonna thicken this up at all. We're gonna put this formula into a foamer bottle, and the reason why I'm doing that, this is a duplication, so of course I'm gonna show you how to do it this way. This little package has 50 cleansing pads in it, and they fit perfectly in this little 4-ounce PET container. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what that looks like now. You just stack them up like that. See, they fit right to the top perfectly. So then we're just gonna go ahead and pour this in. Now, the reason I'm showing you two different ways, I know that this type of product is very popular in skincare, meaning sort of that chemical exfoliation combined with the manual exfoliation of the cleansing pad. For my kind of more mature skin, this is a bit harsh. So this is an interesting thing that I found when researching this product and formulating and learning how to make it. I kind of knew that my skin was going to react the way that I thought it was going to react. I thought that this formula was probably going to be a little bit harsh on my skin. When I've used the little at-home chemical peels, the DIY chemical peels, and it says to leave it on for 1 minute or whatever, I have found on my aging skin, I don't really prefer the results. You can get opposite results. What I'm trying to say is, depending on how you use it, depending on your skin type, you can actually get the opposite results of what you're going for, just because this can be a very harsh product. So I had to adjust the way that I use this product based on my own needs. So the directions on this package here say to use it twice a day. So you take the cleansing pad out, you rub it onto your wet skin, and you use it twice a day. But what you do after you rub it onto your skin is you allow it to sit for 10 minutes. So they're saying for best results, use twice a day and allow the product after you rub it onto your skin to sit for 10 full minutes. Now I thought, okay, I'm gonna give this a try because, you know, in the name of trying to do it the way that they are saying for it to be used, even though I knew that I was gonna have a little bit of an adverse reaction, I decided to give it a try anyway. I actually didn't ever work up to twice a day because I couldn't. So I did try it for a couple days in a row in the evening, where I just allowed it to sit on my skin for 10 minutes before rinsing, and that proved to be too harsh on my skin. It just dried my skin out. It made me red and irritated and a little bit itchy, so I backed way off. And I started to use it maybe once to twice a week with the cleansing pads. For me, that was perfect. And also, I do not leave it on my skin. I leave it on my skin for the purposes of washing. So we're talking seconds, not minutes, and then rinse it off. And it's been much better. So you need to experiment with that. I would not recommend using it twice a day. I don't even recommend using it every day, because this is a chemical exfoliation as well as a manual exfoliation in one product. And that can be super harsh on anyone's skin, and I think in particular mature skin is a little bit more prone to not liking that type of thing, at least in my experience. And you end up getting kind of a dried out, irritated look on your skin until everything heals, and that's definitely not what you're going for. You're just going for a bright, even skin tone. So I decided to, in addition to formulating this, the little cleansing pads, I decided to also turn it into a foaming facial wash, and then that way we're not getting the manual exfoliation mixed in with the chemical exfoliation. So I find I can use this one a little more often than I can use this one. So you're just gonna have to do your own kind of testing and see what works for you. Now I'll go ahead and show you a little bit of a use demo, but I think it's very beautiful looking, that bright yellow from the turmeric. So I'll go ahead and show you how these work. All right, so a couple things before I demonstrate this. You need to be really aware of anything that you're using with kojic acid in it, that if you're using products with kojic acid or any other type of chemical exfoliant, you definitely want to make sure that you're using sunscreen on your face every day. That's going to be super important because it can make you a little bit more prone to sunburn, and you want to protect your skin. So make sure you're using a good high quality sunscreen on your face. And also, if kojic acid products start to irritate your skin, back off. Don't keep using it. You don't want to damage that protective skin barrier. If it's feeling the slightest bit irritating, you definitely just want to back off. Again, I would never recommend using this product the way it was recommended on the package, by leaving it on for 10 minutes. And if the chemical and the manual exfoliation combined in this is too much for your skin, you need to just back off. So it shouldn't feel irritating to you when you're washing it. It shouldn't feel like it's bothering, stinging, or irritating or itching your skin at all. So let's go ahead and give these a little bit of a use demo, and be very careful. If you are going to make this product, be really careful with your testing of it. If you've never used kojic acid, do a little test patch, like on the inside of your skin somewhere in here, or like on the underside of your chin, just a little bit, and leave it on there for a few seconds and see how it does before you use it all over. So here's the little cleansing pads. I find them much easier to just kind of dip in and grab one versus that packaging. So we got one little, I like the bright lemon fragrance we're getting there. Go ahead and wet my hand. And I do have, you could use it anywhere too that you have dark spots. I do have dark spots on my hand right here. So you just take the little cleansing pad and rub it in. My skin, I have noticed my facial skin is a lot more sensitive than it used to be as I'm aging, getting older here. This type of action over and over, like on my skin with something like this, actually makes my skin feel can make it feel a little bit raw. So just be careful. Again, I definitely wouldn't use this product every day, maybe once a week. So as you can see, I'm getting some nice foam and lather just from this one little. And that's what you do. You just go ahead and rub it in. And let me know in the comments if you've seen any of the viral content with the one that I just showed you. People are really liking this product, and I've been seeing it on TikTok and Instagram, and the before and after photos that people show are really quite impressive. So, it's not going to work overnight. You have to be consistently using the product. But I'm just to give you an idea of how much product is actually in one little pad. I mean, that's quite a bit. So they're kind of fun to use. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and show you the foaming facial wash version. I really prefer this one. So it gives a nice big fluffy foam there. Love that bright yellow color, and it just feels super luxurious. That polyquaternium and the glycerin together just really make this a nice feeling facial wash. And that's all you're gonna do. Really, you're just gonna wash your face, leave it on for a few seconds while you're washing, and then rinse. And for me, this proves to be the best way because I don't get any skin irritation. Also, just be careful when using this around your eyes. It can be irritating to your eyes as well. So there it is, everybody. That's how you make the viral turmeric and kojic acid cleansing pads, and also my facial wash version of the same thing. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Please leave me some comments and questions below. That really means a lot to me. Share this video with a friend, and why not subscribe to my channel? All right, everyone, catch you on the next video. Bye. Keep shining.